The ROAS calculation, how do
Yep.
you guys look? I deal a lot in the organic growth side of things, so I don't look at some of the revenues and
Mm.
the ad spend side of things. So I have no idea from a newbie perspective. How do you like to calculate ROAS?
Uh, I like to calculate it a lot of different ways, almost as many ways as you could calculate LTV. Um, so first, since you brought up organic is the CFO's favorite because it's free. Um, so you can look at it a lot of different ways. I tend to look at ROAS just on paid traffic. A lot of people will try to blend in the organic traffic and,
Make their numbers look better.
yeah, make the numbers look better. And there's value in looking at that number over time, but let's look at both. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, let's look at both, right? Let's look at it with and without, paid and total. Let's look at it. A lot of people will also show you, especially in the social casino industry or other industries that are take longer to break even. A lot of agencies and vendor partners will show you 3-day, 6-day, 15-day LTVs or ROASs or 30-day ROASs.
Mm.
I mean, that's fine and dandy. It's nice to see how those do against other cohorts of the same time. But I want to know when you're projecting that it'll break even. So I'm spending $100,000. You're telling me I'll get $20,000 back in 30 days. That doesn't thrill me.
I see.
Right? I want to know, when are we going to break even, if we're going to break even. So what I'm saying is, look at your LTVs and ROASs over like 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month. Find when the break even point is. So say if it's 18 months, I want to know, when am I going to get my 100% ROAS back?
Got it. So that's the main thing that you're concerned about. Hey, when am I breaking even? I don't want to be
Yeah.
losing money, essentially.
Yeah.
And if they don't know that, like, well, how do you go back to them? Like, how do you interact with them? Like, Steve, I just don't have enough data yet. I'm the UA manager. I just don't have enough
Yeah.
data yet, right? Like, I here's what the LTV is looking like. We're soft launching. So how do you sort of project that out?
Yeah. And it's a fair point. A lot of it is not really on the UA guy. That actually ends up being on the data team a little bit, at least the places I've been. So I would say to the UA person, we really have to get on the data team to give you the information you need, or on your partners. If sometimes you can get it from an adjust or your attribution partner. It's not always as reliable as internal information because that's just not their main focus, but they've got a lot of helpful stats too.
I see. So educate me, Steve, because I'm not a finance guy and I don't know anything about this stuff too.
Lucky
But
you.
cash flow, what can us people like newbies or UA managers really understand about cash flow when it actually hits? Because you as a CFO, you're spending a lot, but a lot of these ad networks and app stores, they take a bit of some time to actually pay you out. So how do you deal with this?
Yeah, that's a good point. You're hitting a lot of the painful points today.
I've been in the industry, Steve. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Like we both have.
But you're bringing up all the hard, painful points. So yeah, you're exactly right. Everyone says they'll pay you back in 30 days, right? From on the revenue side. Yeah, everyone says 30 days, maybe they say 60 days, but it's rarely. On average, you will collect your money from the revenue side 60 to 90 days. I'd say the average, if you're lucky and good and stay on top of things, is 60 days. So that means the $100,000 I gave you, Mr. UA manager, won't come back to the company for 60 to 90 days. That's if you're getting 100% ROAS, right off the bat.
Right.
Right. If
Right.
so, I might not be able to get that 100,000 to give you your next month's budget. Right. So what I would say to UA people in that situation too, though, is again, be a partner. So when your vendor partners come knocking at the door and say, why isn't Steve paying you, or why isn't Steve paying us 30 days or 45 days? It's typically because I'm waiting for the other side to pay us.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. It slows the growth of business down.
You know, when you're planning out these budgets, especially
Mhm.
for like a big launch, I mean, how far in advance have you budgeted in terms of months? Like, and do you look at it from a per game perspective? There's like a big portfolio of games, or is it just like, hey, this game has this much budget and here's how we're gonna, like
Yeah,
allocate it month one, month two, month three, so forth.
yeah. Another good question. Um, so for at least 12 months, month by month out, um, then towards the middle of the year, let's say towards the end of the year, I'll roll another 12 months out. So, at one point I might have 18 months worth of forecast. But that's probably about as far out as I would go monthly because things just change too much 18 months down the line. Um, and as far as game by game, it sort of depends on the critical mass of the game, right? If it's a little game that we don't expect a lot from, we may not look at it, or we may blend two or three together. But we'll both look at the calculations on a game by game basis and then roll them up to an aggregate company basis, right? So we've got 10 games. I would look at the revenues and acquisition cost game by game, so we can see how each of them are performing, and then consolidate them together for an overall company.
I know when you said be a partner, be a good partner,
Mhm.
the Peter from Hutch was talking about like daily communication. Like, he's like, so how do you be a good partner from a UA and CFO perspective?
Um, well, the first one was honestly upfront, advanced communication. Finance folks do not like surprises, right? We're kind of quirky that way. We rather take I think at least we'd rather take the bad news up front. And like you said, day to day, uh, everywhere I have been or go, I tend to have daily reports. And I tend to, either me or someone on my team will look at that every day and watch, keep the time series and watch the trends. So I see that as the day-to-day communication. And when something gets kind of quirky, I'll ask the UA person, but then also the UA team or the UA person should, even if the data looks normal, but they've heard something on the street like, okay, it looks normal, but huge Nike campaign is coming in and it's probably going to, jack CPIs up in the next week or two.
I see.
Get that information to us.
Got it. Just be proactive as much as you
Exactly.
can. Got it.